Aiden Clark dropped his coffee cup when the sheriff's voice rang out on the phone, breaking the morning's peace. "Mr. Clark, your wife Emily was in an accident in Denver. She's in the hospital." Aiden's heart stopped. Emily was supposed to be in Seattle visiting her parents. Before he could respond, he received a message on Facebook from a stranger named Sarah. "Did you know your wife was with my husband?" These words cut into his consciousness, and the world tilted beneath him. There is one detail that only the attentive notice. Did you see it? Write a comment and subscribe, because it will be even cooler. Aiden, 38, was the picture of a steady American dad living in Portland, Oregon. He managed sales for a mid-sized tech company, a job that kept him tethered to his laptop, but paid for a comfortable suburban home. His life revolved around his two sons, 8-year-old Lucas and 6-year-old Noah. Aiden was the dad who showed up early to coach their soccer games, cracking jokes with other parents while cheering from the sidelines. Weekends meant flipping burgers on the grill or binge-watching Marvel movies with the boys. Emily, 35, was his partner in this well-oiled routine. A freelance interior designer, she was always juggling client calls and mood boards, her energy filling their home with warmth. Or so Aiden thought. Lately, she'd been distant, her smiles fleeting, her evenings spent glued to her phone. He chalked it up to work stress, never imagining the truth. Their home was a cozy split level, the kind you'd see in any Portland neighborhood, with a backyard swing set and a fridge covered in the boys' drawings. Aiden liked the predictability of it all: morning coffee, school drop-offs, late-night emails. He wasn't one for grand gestures, but he prided himself on being reliable. Emily used to tease him about his boring dad vibes, but her laughter had faded in recent months. Still, Aiden trusted her. They'd been married 9 years, built a life together. Betrayal wasn't part of the equation. That morning, after the sheriff's call, Aiden stood frozen in the kitchen. The boys were still asleep, their superhero-themed backpacks slumped by the door. He dialed Emily's mom, Linda, expecting answers. "Oh, she's here with us," Linda said, her voice tight. "Just sleeping in." Aiden's gut twisted. Linda's hesitation was a crack in the facade. He pressed, but she dodged, saying she'd have Emily call back. The lie was palpable, and Aiden's hands shook as he ended the call. He opened his phone to check the Facebook message again. Sarah's profile showed a woman about his age, her photo smiling beside 2 kids. Her words were blunt. "Your wife and my husband, Nate, have been meeting behind our backs. They're in Denver together." Aiden's breath caught. Nate. The name rang a bell. Emily's old college friend, the one she mentioned in passing during their early dating days. Aiden had never met him, but Emily's stories painted Nate as a charming dreamer who'd moved to Denver years ago. Apparently, he was more than a memory. Aiden sank onto the couch, the weight of the morning pressing down. He tried Emily's phone, straight to voicemail. The sheriff had left a hospital number, but Aiden wasn't ready to call. Not yet. He needed proof, something to make sense of the chaos. Emily's laptop sat on the dining table, her workspace cluttered with fabric swatches and coffee mugs. Aiden hesitated. He'd never snooped before, but trust was crumbling. He powered it on, and to his surprise, it wasn't password protected. Her email was open, a thread with Nate glaring from the screen. The emails were short, logistical. "Flight lands at 7 p.m., Nate wrote. "Can't wait to see you," Emily replied. They planned a weekend in Denver while Nate's wife, Sarah, was supposedly away on a work trip. Aiden's stomach churned as he scrolled. The betrayal wasn't just Emily's. A Facebook Messenger chat with her parents popped up, revealing they'd agreed to cover for her. "Tell Aiden I'm with you," Emily had written. Her mom's reply, "Of course, honey." Aiden's jaw clenched. His in-laws, who'd always treated him like an outsider, were in on it. He leaned back, staring at the ceiling. The boys' laughter from a previous weekend echoed in his mind. Lucas scoring a goal, Noah chasing him across the field. Aiden had 1C9 to Fate B3B5184 D319 Evo B3B2F4 to 3D4A38. Aiden had to keep it together for them. But the anger simmering inside him was hard to contain. He wanted to scream, to confront Emily, to demand answers. But the boys would be up soon, and he couldn't let them see him unravel. He closed the laptop and took a deep breath, the sheriff's words replaying in his head. An accident. Denver. Emily wasn't where she said she'd be, and the life Aiden thought he knew was a lie. Aiden paced the kitchen, the faint hum of the refrigerator filling the silence of the early Portland morning. The boys, Lucas and Noah, were still asleep upstairs, unaware of the chaos unraveling their father's world. Aiden's hands trembled as he dialed the hospital number left by the sheriff, each ring amplifying his dread. A clerk answered, her voice calm but detached. Emily Clark is stable, recovering from injuries sustained in a car accident, she said. Aiden's throat tightened. What kind of accident? He pressed. The clerk paused, choosing her words. A minor collision late last night. She and another passenger were treated for non-life-threatening injuries. Aiden's pulse quickened. Another passenger. It had to be Nate. He ended the call and sank into a chair, his phone still clutched tightly. Sarah's Facebook message stared back at him. They've been meeting for 6 months. The words ignited a fire in his chest, a mix of fury and disbelief. He typed a reply, keeping it brief. Can we talk? I need to understand. Within minutes, his phone buzzed with an incoming call. Sarah's voice was steady but laced with exhaustion. I found out last night, she began. Nate said he was working late in Denver, but I tracked his phone to a hotel. Then the hospital called about the accident. Aiden's jaw clenched. Emily told me she was in Seattle with her parents. They're covering for her. Sarah let out a sharp, bitter laugh. Sounds like we're in the same boat. Nate's been lying to me for months. Sarah laid out the timeline, her voice steady despite the pain. Emily and Nate had reconnected at a college reunion a year ago, swapping nostalgic texts that soon turned into something more. They've been meeting secretly, stealing weekends under the guise of work trips or family visits. The Denver getaway was their latest plan, timed while Sarah was at a conference in Los Angeles. But their night out ended in a crash, a low-speed collision after dinner, caused by Nate's careless driving. No one was seriously hurt, but the accident had blown their secret wide open. The police contacted me, Sarah said. Nate's facing a fine, maybe a suspended license. Aiden's grip on the phone tightened. And Emily? Sarah hesitated. She's bruised, shaken up, but she'll recover. Physically, at least. Aiden's mind spun, piecing together the betrayal. Emily hadn't just lied. She'd woven a web of deception, pulling her parents into it. He thought back to their last anniversary, a quiet dinner where she'd seemed distracted, her eyes on her phone. He'd brushed it off, trusting her. Now, every memory felt tainted. He wanted to call her, to demand answers, to scream until his voice gave out. But Sarah's question cut through his haze. What are you going to do? She asked. Aiden exhaled, his voice low. I don't know yet. I've got 2 boys to think about. They're my priority. Sarah sighed. I get it. I've got kids too, a daughter and a son. This isn't just about us. Hanging up, Aiden sat at the dining table, Emily's laptop still open from his earlier search. The emails and messages were a digital trail of her lies, each one a stab to his heart. He scrolled further, finding more than he expected. Text about dinners in Denver, a weekend in Aspen, even a mention of Nate covering a flight for Emily. Worse, he noticed withdrawals from their joint savings account. Hundreds of dollars siphoned off for her trips. Money meant for the boys' college fund, for their family. Aiden's anger surged, his fists clenching until his knuckles whitened. He forced himself to breathe, counting to 10 like he'd learned in a stress management seminar years ago. Lucas and Noah would be up soon, and he couldn't let them see him broken. He needed perspective, someone to ground him. He called Mark, his best friend since high school, a contractor who always had a no-nonsense take on life. Mark listened as Aiden recounted the morning. The sheriff's call, Sarah's message, the emails, the money. His voice cracked as he admitted how Emily's parents had lied. Man, that's a gut punch, Mark said, his tone steady. But you're stronger than this, Aiden. Don't let her choices define you or mess with those boys. Mark's words were a lifeline, pulling Aiden back from the edge. He couldn't control Emily's actions, but he could control his response. Confronting her now, while she was in the hospital, felt pointless. He needed a plan, something to protect his sons and their future. As sunlight streamed through the kitchen blinds, Aiden heard the creak of footsteps on the stairs. Lucas shuffled in, his Spider-Man pajamas wrinkled, rubbing sleep from his eyes. "Where's Mom?" he asked, his voice small. Aiden forced a smile, kneeling to meet his son's gaze. "She's away for a bit, buddy. How about we make pancakes?" Lucas nodded, and soon Noah stumbled in, his hair a wild mess. Aiden poured batter onto the griddle, keeping the morning routine intact, but his mind was elsewhere. Emily's betrayal wasn't just a personal wound. It threatened the stability he'd built for his sons. He flipped a pancake, watching it sizzle, and vowed to shield Lucas and Noah from the fallout. Whatever came next, he'd face it for them. Aiden stood at the kitchen counter, flipping pancakes for Lucas and Noah, the smell of batter grounding him in the moment. The boys chattered about their favorite superheroes, oblivious to the weight pressing on their father's chest. But every laugh, every carefree word, sharpened his resolve. Emily's betrayal, her secret trips with Nate, the lies her parents told, the money she'd taken from their savings, cut deep, but Aiden wouldn't let it shatter his son's world. He plated the pancakes, drizzling syrup with a steady hand, and forced a smile as Noah smeared syrup on his chin. Routine was his anchor, but the storm inside him was growing. After breakfast, Aiden sent the boys to the living room with their tablets, the familiar jingle of a cartoon filling the house. He sat back at Emily's laptop, the screen still glowing with her emails to Nate. Each message was a fresh wound, but Aiden needed to understand the full scope. He dug deeper, finding a folder labeled Travel in her email. It contained receipts, hotel bookings, restaurant reservations, even a rental car for their Denver weekend. The dates stretched back months, each one a time Emily had claimed to be visiting her parents or working late. Aiden's stomach churned as he calculated the cost. Nearly $3,000, siphoned from their joint account, money meant for the boys' future. He slammed the laptop shut, his breath ragged, and gripped the edge of the table to steady himself. His phone buzzed, snapping him back. It was Sarah again, her voice quieter now, almost resigned. "I spoke to the police," she said. Nate was driving after a few drinks. Nothing illegal, but enough to make him sloppy. He swerved to avoid a car and hit a pole. Emily was with him, of course. Aiden's jaw tightened. "Were they okay?" he asked, hating that he still cared. "Bruises, a sprained wrist for Emily, some cuts for Nate," Sarah replied. "They're both out of the hospital now, at a hotel. I'm flying to Denver tomorrow to deal with Nate." Aiden exhaled, relief mixing with anger. Emily was fine, but that only made her lies more infuriating. "What's your next step?" he asked. Sarah paused. "I'm done protecting him. I found out he's been using his company credit card for these trips. I'm turning everything over to his boss." Aiden's mind raced. Sarah's decisiveness was a spark. "Keep me posted," he said. "I might have something to add." Hanging up, Aiden felt shift. Sarah's plan gave him an idea. Emily's deceit wasn't just personal. It had financial consequences. He reopened the laptop, this time checking their bank statements. The withdrawals were clear, timed with her trips. But there was more. Emily had charged client expenses to their personal account, mixing her freelance work with her secret life. Aiden wasn't a lawyer, but he knew this could matter. He took screenshots, saving every email, receipt, and bank record. His anger was still there, but it was sharpening into something else, focus. He called Mark again, needing to talk it through. "She didn't just cheat," Aiden said, his voice low. "She used our savings, Mark. Money for the boys." Mark whistled. "That's low. You thinking legal?" Aiden nodded, though Mark couldn't see. "I'm not sure yet, but I'm not letting her walk away clean." Mark's voice was firm. "Get a lawyer, man. Protect yourself and the kids. You're not the bad guy here." The words steadied Aiden. He wasn't powerless. He could fight back, not with fists or shouts, but with evidence and strategy. As the afternoon wore on, Aiden kept the boys busy with a board game, their laughter a reminder of what was at stake. But his mind kept circling back to Emily's parents. Their betrayal stung almost as much as hers. They'd always seen Aiden as not good enough, their smiles polite but cold. Now they'd lied to his face, enabling Emily's affair. He wanted to call them, to unleash his fury, but he stopped himself. Lucas and Noah didn't need a father consumed by rage. Instead, he texted Sarah, "Found proof Emily used our savings. Thinking of legal options." "You." Her reply came fast. "Good. I'm meeting Nate's boss tomorrow. Let's stay in touch." Aiden felt a flicker of solidarity. He wasn't alone in this. By evening, the boys were tucked into bed, their room glowing with a nightlight shaped like a rocket. Aiden sat on the couch, staring at his phone. Emily hadn't called, hadn't texted. Part of him wanted her to reach out, to explain, to beg for forgiveness. But another part, the part growing stronger, knew it wouldn't change anything. The life they'd built was fractured, and Aiden had to decide how to rebuild it for his sons. He opened his laptop again, drafting an email to a family lawyer Mark had recommended. It was a small step, but it felt like taking back control. Aiden sat in his home office, a cramped corner of the living room with a desk and a flickering lamp. The boys were at school, their backpacks bouncing as they'd run to the bus that morning. The quiet house gave Aiden space to think, but his mind was a battlefield. Emily's betrayal, her secret trips with Nate, the drained savings, her parents' lies, had left him raw. He wanted to lash out, to post every damning email online and watch her world crumble. But Lucas and Noah's faces kept him grounded. They deserved a father who rose above the hurt, not one who drowned in it. He opened his laptop, the lawyer's email glowing on the screen. Aiden had sent the screenshots, bank statements, receipts, Emily's messages with Nate, and scheduled a meeting for tomorrow. But the anger still gnawed at him, a fire that threatened to consume his clarity. He needed help to channel it. On a whim, he called a therapist recommended by co-worker Dr. Laura Bennett. Her voice was warm but direct over the phone. "What brought you here, Aiden?" she asked. He hesitated, then let it spill. The affair, the lies, the money. "I'm furious," he admitted, "but I can't let it ruin me or my kids." Dr. Bennett listened, then offered a plan. "Let's meet weekly," she said. "We'll work on managing that anger and making choices you can be proud of." Their first session was that afternoon, a video call from Aiden's office. Dr. Bennett's calm presence steadied him as he described the past few days. "I want to hurt Emily back," he confessed, his voice tight. "But that's not who I want to be." Dr. Bennett nodded. "Anger's natural, but it's a signal, not a strategy. What do you want for your sons?" Aiden thought of Lucas's shy smile, Noah's endless questions. "Stability," he said. "A dad they can rely on." She gave him tools, breathing exercises, journaling prompts, to process the pain without letting it rule him. It wasn't a cure, but it was a start. Back at his desk, Aiden felt a shift. The therapist's words echoed Mark's advice. Protect the boys, protect himself. He dove into action, organizing his evidence for the lawyer. The bank records showed Emily's withdrawals, some labeled as client expenses, but timed with her trips to Nate. Aiden also found an email from Emily's biggest client, confused about a payment she claimed to make. It was sloppy, proof she'd blurred her professional and personal lives. Aiden forwarded it to the lawyer, his fingers steady as he typed. This wasn't revenge, it was accountability. Sarah texted later that day, updating him on her side. "Met with Nate's boss," she wrote. "Showed them the company card charges. They're launching an investigation." Aiden admired her resolve. He replied, "Lawyers on board. Found proof Emily misused our account. Let's keep each other posted." Sarah sent a thumbs-up emoji, a small sign of their shared fight. Aiden realized he wasn't alone. Sarah's determination fueled his own. He began researching family law, learning about asset protection and custody options. Knowledge dulled the edge of his helplessness. That evening, Emily called. Aiden's heart raced as her name lit up his phone. He let it ring, then answered on the last chime, his voice cold. "What do you want?" Emily's tone was shaky, almost rehearsed. "Aiden, I'm so sorry. It was a mistake. I never meant to hurt you." Her words felt hollow, like a script. "A mistake," he snapped. "You lied for months, stole from our kids' future. Your parents lied too." She stammered. "I was lost, Aiden. You were always so busy." I felt alone. The blame stung, and for a moment doubt crept in. Had he failed her? But Dr. Bennett's voice echoed. "Anger's a signal, not a strategy." "This isn't on me," he said firmly. "We're done talking until my lawyer contacts you." He hung up, his hands shaking but his resolve intact. The next day, Aiden met the lawyer, a sharp woman named Carla Ruiz. She reviewed the evidence, nodding approvingly. "You've got a strong case for financial misconduct," she said. "We can protect your assets and pursue compensation for the misused funds. Custody will be our priority." Aiden exhaled, the legal path giving him structure. Carla advised him to avoid public outbursts, especially online. "Keep it clean," she said. "Let the law do the work." Aiden agreed, deleting a half-written social media post he drafted in a moment of rage. As he drove home, Aiden felt lighter, not because the pain was gone, but because he was choosing a path forward. He stopped by the boys' school, watching them play at recess. Lucas kicked a soccer ball. Noah chased a friend, their laughter a reminder of what mattered. Aiden wasn't just fighting for justice. He was fighting for their future. He'd face Emily and Nate's consequences head-on, but he'd do it his way, with strength and principle. Aiden sat on the couch, watching Lucas and Noah build a Lego spaceship, their small hands snapping pieces together with focus. The past weeks have been a marathon, lawyer meetings, therapy sessions, and late nights organizing evidence. But seeing his son's smiles made it worth it. Emily's betrayal had cracked their family, but Aiden was determined to rebuild, piece by piece, just like the boys' creation. He'd chosen a path of principle over rage, and now, the consequences of that choice were unfolding. The lawyer, Carla, called with an update. Emily had returned to Portland, staying with a friend while recovering from her minor injuries. Carla had served her with legal papers, outlining Aiden's claims for financial compensation and full custody of the boys. "She's not contesting much," Carla said. "Her client dropped her after the payment mix-up came to light. She's in damage control." Aiden nodded, unsurprised. Emily's freelance career, once her pride, was unraveling under the weight of her choices. He felt no joy in it, only a quiet sense of justice. Sarah's efforts in Denver bore fruit too. Nate's company had suspended him after confirming he'd misused corporate funds for his trips with Emily. An internal audit revealed thousands in unauthorized charges, and Nate faced potential lawsuits. Sarah texted Aiden, "He's out of job. Moving to my sister's place. Feels like a win, but it's heavy." Aiden replied, "You did what was right. Stay strong." Their shared resolve had turned personal pain into accountability, and Aiden felt a bond with Sarah, not romantic, but rooted in mutual respect. Emily's parents reached out, sending a letter that arrived with the morning mail. Aiden opened it, expecting excuses, but found something else. "We're sorry," they wrote. "We thought we were helping Emily, but we were wrong to lie. We'd like to see Lucas and Noah, if you'll allow it." Aiden set the letter down, his emotions tangled. Their apology was a start, but trust was broken. He consulted Carla, who suggested supervised visits in the future, once boundaries were clear. Aiden agreed, prioritizing the boys' connection to their grandparents, but on his terms. He mailed a brief response, stating he'd consider it later, keeping the door cracked but not wide open. Aiden's therapy sessions with Dr. Bennett continued, helping him navigate the guilt and doubt that surfaced after Emily's call. "You're not responsible for her choices," Dr. Bennett reminded him. "Focus on the life you're building." Aiden took it to heart, pouring energy into the boys. He enrolled them in a weekend soccer camp, cheering louder than ever at their games. At home, he started a new tradition, Friday night story time, reading adventure books with Lucas and Noah curled up beside him. Their laughter filled the gaps Emily had left, and Aiden felt himself healing, one moment at a time. The community rallied around him too. Mark and his wife invited the boys for playdates, giving Aiden breathing room. At a school event, a group of parents approached him, offering support after hearing whispers of his story. "You're doing right by your kids," one dad said, clapping Aiden's shoulder. The words meant more than he expected. He joined a local parenting group, not for dating, but for connection, finding comfort in shared stories of resilience. The group organized a charity kickball game, and Aiden volunteered, coaching the kids' team. Seeing Lucas score a run, his face lit with pride, was a victory sweeter than any revenge. Financially, Aiden stabilized. Carla secured a settlement from Emily, recovering most of the misused savings. The house, now solely in Aiden's name, felt like a fresh start. He hung a new photo in the living room, a shot of him and the boys at the soccer camp, grinning under a clear Portland sky. It replaced the old family portrait, a silent marker of their new chapter. Emily faded into the background, her calls rare and unanswered unless about the boys. Aiden didn't hate her. He simply didn't need her to define his future. One evening, as spring warmed the air, Aiden took Lucas and Noah to a nearby park. They brought a kite, a bright red diamond they'd built together. Aiden held the string, guiding it as the boys ran, their shouts echoing across the field. The kite soared, catching the wind, its tail dancing against the clouds. Aiden watched, his heart full. He'd faced betrayal, fought for justice, and come out stronger. The boys tugged at the string, their joy infectious, and Aiden knew this was enough. He wasn't just their dad. He was their anchor, their home. As the kite climbed higher, Aiden felt free, ready for whatever came next.